I had to kill him off somehow.
Yeah.
And you notice that I recruit Urk there because, well, A, to get rid of the other phase, but also there's a map later on that there's a route split, and which map you go to depends on how much experience certain characters have gained. And Urk it's basically the magic users versus the physical attackers. If the magic users have gained more experience, you'll go to the map with Kenneth in it, which is much, much faster. Therefore, Urk gaining that little bit of experience is good.
Kind of the other half of Fire Emblem speedrunning. The fun part is the route planning and luck manipulation. The other half is waiting for the enemy phase, which mercifully they are starting to remove in more recent Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, in Awakening you can actually just push start and it skips over like
and also in Shadow Dragon, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
You can have it auto skip for you.
Yeah. I believe there's a run of Shadow Dragon on the site, right?
Right.
I remember verifying it.
Yeah, I did that one.
And it's like 15 minutes long, so that's just an indication of how much time you spend just watching enemies fight you.
Oh yeah, it significantly cuts down.
Okay, now we're going to see the first instance of a line glitch, which...
It was just fantastic programming.
It's fun. And just like that, I have control of the enemies. All I do is reset as they step on the tile like that.
Let's get back to the game so quickly.
If you do a soft reset and you hold start, the game will just automatically go back in.
Interesting.
And I moved the enemies, just the enemies that would actually be in range to attack me, and I had that archer give away his weapon so that he couldn't attack.
So yeah, this is a Seize chapter where you need to bring Eliwood to the throne, and normally there's an enemy guarding it, and their AI is just to never move, because once they move you can easily win the chapter without fighting them, but they'll still never move if you move them.
Yeah, that's just fantastic.
And Merlinus, he really wants to come with me, and I always just tell him, no, go away. There are very few times that I'll send him out. Because unlike Sacred Stones, you have to actually deploy Merlinus if you get an item and you can't hold that item, you'll have to choose something to throw away if he's not on the map. It would be faster to send an item to him, but he levels up at the start of each map, and that, I think, offsets it. It would be slower to watch him level up all the time. And I had to be slower skipping that scene because the game still uses random numbers to determine where the soldier moves and all of that. So if you skip it too early, that level up will change and everything else will change. Whereas it's consistent if you wait until the scene starts and then skip it. This is the archer she wouldn't kill if she didn't have an energy.
That strength stat.
Yeah, she's not afraid of archers anymore. It's no big deal.
Oh, wait, the functions. Okay.
Yeah, that's.
Watching any good speed runs lately?
Don't worry, when it comes to enemy phases, they get much, much worse.
Yeah.
You get to chapter 25, and that's pretty much you just fall asleep because the strategy I have for that, I developed it to basically be minimal effort, minimal memorization. So I only bring one unit to the map.
Nice.
So it's every turn I'm pretty much moving one unit, waiting, one unit, waiting. Hammer sucks, let's drop it. The enemies are weak enough that Marcus can, like the boss here, the hammer would be effective against him, but it's actually it's just fine to use the steel axe because he'll kill him in 2 hits regardless, and he'll have a better hit rate. Also, Marcus with his good level ups this chapter.
Yep.
He's trying. And I'm trying to. I could rescue Elwood earlier on, but I'm going to try to just leave him out on the map because I use him as a placeholder because of the way you hit L to switch between units. And Florina is actually not high on that list at this point because I haven't deployed her very often. So it's easier to have him park next to her so that I can easily switch back and select her quick. That's one of the other more annoying things about planning Fire Emblem runs is planning the L switches to switch between characters rather than actually move the cursor around.
Yeah.
No need to kill them all, so just kill himself. He tries. And I could end the map a turn or just earlier, but those NPCs there, those 3 soldiers, will actually leave and you know that thing about placeholders? Yeah, just screw it. But the soldiers will run out and basically kill themselves. And you get a different reward depending on, like, if you end the map with all 3 of them alive, you get a red gem, I'm pretty sure. And that's useless to me, I don't need any money. But if I leave only 1 alive, immediately 1 has a javelin, so he doesn't kill himself, the rewards are mine instead. So therefore I get the glitch more.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing to keep in mind, normally you would recruit that mercenary there, that's Raven. Normally you would really want to recruit that guy because he's really, really, really...
Hold on, I just need to hear this. Okay.
You were listening for unit movement?
Yeah, the thing about that is there's a scene that plays out where the units move around, and I need to skip the scene before they move around because it changes the RNG.
Fair enough. Yeah, you were
saying about
Raven is
Yeah,
awesome.
normally he's really awesome. You want him. But speedrun, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Doesn't have a horse.
Yeah, does not have a horse.
Can't use it.
I don't know, I just laugh every time I see those strength growths for Florida because she is not supposed to get that high strength at this point in the game.
What's her initial strength? Is it like 3 or something?
I think it's around 6 or 7.
Okay. Because I remember having a game where like 2020 Florina was something like 11.
11 strength, yeah. Yeah, her strength growth is just atrocious.
Yeah, you only have to defeat the boss on this map, and fun thing, that strength growth she got, exact kill.
Yes.
And this level up, you'll like this level.
Okay.
It's almost perfect.
Sweet.
Slightly unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna load up Zane's inventory with a bunch of worthless junk.
Yes.
So that when he acquires a new item, he will be able to send it back to Rolandus, which is slightly faster than the alternative. Because we're actually going to send Rolandus out in this map because there is a new glitch. The same one that you saw in Sacred Stones, the torch glitch, also exists in this. And it works the exact same way.
That's good.
any tile that you torch or use the torch on will pretty much become a secondary effect tile, which means that if an enemy ends a turn on it, if you reset as their turn ends, you gain control.
So, speaking of somebody who's never actually used torches before, what's the secondary effect that happens?
Oh, it gives vision range. It's like a normal torch, only you can actually aim it around.
When you land on a space that's been torched?
No, I'm talking about the secondary effect is the lighting up the fog.
Right,
effect.
but just the fact that that exists on that space.
Yep.
Wow.
Will cause it to do crazy things. I don't know about the internal reason, but I won't question it. And so this Cavalier will try to attack Lynn, and she'll fail to kill him, which is good, because then he'll end his turn on there, and then fun happens.
Alrighty.
We grab this guy and we drop him down here because the boss normally drops an Orion Bolt, which is completely useless for us, because it promotes archers and things like that. Instead, his newest item is now a mine, so therefore he will drop a mine instead. So I glitch to obtain another item to glitch. And we just gang up on this dude, because why not? Yeah. That's good.
There you go.
Get a better level up out of it. HP, strength, skill, speed,
Yep.
and a mine. It's all good.
The only stat she has right now that looks like what she should probably always have is her defense.
And the interesting thing about this map, I don't skip that scene until later because there's another strange, inconsistent thing between an emulator and this. And for some reason, when you play on an emulator, the game thinks you have Knas and thinks he's a druid.
Okay.
And so it uses a whole bunch of numbers and like auto levels in, and I really don't understand how that works. But it doesn't happen on the cartridge.
Alright.
So therefore, I had to plan this out to the point where I try not to gain any level ups in this map, so that as long as the combat is the same and I get the same amount of experience, it has no lasting effect on the round. So that's why I won't gain it. That's another reason for the mind glitch here. Otherwise, I would have to rampage through a whole bunch of guys. It's faster to just get them out of your way anyway.
Yeah. So, the boss that just moved there is supposed to be a character that isn't able to move. Like, he's supposed to just sit on the throne for the entire thing. But, well.
Mind glitch. Hooray.
Yeah, and in general, enemies don't use rescuing at all, so it's actually really weird seeing the rescue animation on enemy units.
Yeah, you might notice the sort of character portraits, because the game has no idea what to do.
Yeah, they're all screwed up. The game doesn't even know what to do when it comes to rescued enemies, because that was brilliant. I do that twice because normally Kent will get a critical on this guy and kill him, which is not what I want because it will screw up his experience and everything else for later. Because I want Florina to kill him. So I actually used the RNG, I manipulated it so that he would not kill that guy. And it's a very rare thing. But the game still doesn't know what to do with enemies that are rescued by other enemies, because if you try to have, say, you're using the glitch, and you want to trade with a guy who's been rescued, the game doesn't know what to do because it won't let you trade with that rescue here.
Yeah.
Whereas it would if you were playing, trading with your own characters.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very entertaining because the character that story-wise is supposed to be dead now, we didn't actually kill him.
And he comes back later as a sort of a zombie,
Yeah, as a
which
ghost
makes no sense
thing.
because he's still alive.
Yeah.
The musical note thing above Illywood is a buff that he received from Nina.
Ninian.
Ninian. It's from Fullmetal Alchemist. Okay.
Yeah, that buff is one turn defense and resistance boost, which is pointless unless you're using the arena, which is very useful because the effect. I'm pretty sure the effect doesn't leave if the unit has been rescued, so that you can have them fight in the arena, then rescue them, and then drop them later, dance for them, and basically they can keep that effect forever.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna use the arena, that's definitely the way to go, but the true way to go is just not use the arena.
Yeah, pretty much. And I moved the boss because all I have to do is kill him, and conveniently he goes first, so he kills himself.
Alrighty.
And of course, I had to have time for Florina to pick up that Elysian Whip because that's her promotion item.
Yeah.
And that's very useful. Oh, no, that's not it. I had her get rid of her Iron Lance on top of the Lilla because she gains a couple items here, and it would take more time to try to drop it than it does to just deposit 2 items. All that so that Florina can be within range. See, I could have promoted her earlier so that she would get an extra point of movement and I wouldn't have had to rescue her or do any of that stuff. But the plan is that I can let her get as many level ups as possible before promoting her.
Yeah, that's a sort of stable Fire Emblem thing. Like, you can promote at level 10, but if you do that, then you miss out on like 10 levels of potential like stats. So normally, if you're playing through, you want to get to
Level 20.
20. Yeah, I'd say at least 15, but at that point, you want to get to 20 so you get the most stats you can.
Yeah, she gets to 14 before promoting. But this way, she's also within range of the boss right now, and so that way she can easily reach him and kill him. Also, more great level ups.
Nice.
Who needs defense?
Yeah. Just to put this in perspective, having a strength of about 20 is about as high as some characters will get ever, and Florina is a level 13 Pegasus Knight before promotion. Like I don't even know what's the strength cap for Fallen Knights.
23.
23.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All unpromoted classes there. Everything except luck is capped at
20.
Almost everything except luck. Yeah, it's capped at 20, and 23 is not so good for a strength cap.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually the biggest downside of Pegasus Knights. Yeah, so typically when you're running Fire Emblem games, that tends to be a brick wall that you'll hit is that if you want to abuse a Pegasus Knight, you will not be able to use them as your main damage dealer towards the end of the run just because their strength cap is so low.
But they still fly, so it's all good.
Yeah.
And make no mistake, even for a regular playthrough, Pegasus Knights are quite good in this game.
Yeah. Their main advantage over most other units is that they have extremely high resistance stat, which means that they're actually very strong against magic users. So what he's doing here is he's just loading her up on all of the stat increasing items. Just making
Yeah, she can use axes.
as good as possible.
Yeah. Level 1 promoted is already Captain Strength. How about that?
Wait for it. This is the map with the best enemy phase music in the game. Real fun of it. You only get to hear it for 1 minute. Interesting thing is that they're I think they're the only bosses that come to mind that they don't have. Normally, when you fight a boss, they say something before. These guys don't. They only say something when they die. Just a little tidbit. And just like the other desert maps, this one has hidden items everywhere. I'll be picking up one of them. That's why I have Matthew moving it around. It's probably not actually faster, but the effect of the item that I pick up is fun at the end. I won't spoil it.
So the character that's green is considered neutral. So it's a character that can kill enemies but won't actually gain any experience. And this particular character is Pence, your pre-promoted sage whose stats are laughably, hilariously good.
He is way better than any other magic user you can get.
Yeah, he's easily the best magic user in the game.
Other than Athos, but that doesn't count.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Also, Lynn's personal weapon is still too good.
Monicati,
Yeah.
That critical hit rate,
Yeah, well, basically it's
plus 25, I think it was.
25? Wow, I thought it was the same as the killing edge, but okay. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really good.
There was one plan I had where Nina gained strength. Oh, okay, it wasn't this one. So disappointing. Should have reset, she didn't gain strength.
Change you on you a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Another big thing in planning out Fire Emblem runs is dealing with weapon uses, because every weapon has a limited number of uses, and the better weapons tend to have low uses. You usually need to be smart about how much you use good weapons, so you'll see he switched from spear to javelin on Flareon just because he needed the spear for the kill, but you don't want to waste that because spears are, like, OP in this game.
Actually, yeah, the interesting thing is that sometimes which weapon you use, like you'll still get the same kill. Like in 27, I'll explain it when I get there, but if I use a javelin on a certain part, I would get what looks like the same effect. I would kill everybody and all that, but then an enemy would kill Marcus, whereas if I use a short spear, he'll survive. It's kind of stupid. I can't remember if it has something to do with his critical hit rate or his damage, but either way it affects the RNG just that slight bit. Aphis drops, totally useful. Not.
What do they do?
It increases growth rates by 5% on the person who uses it.
Oh, okay.
Which in a casual playthrough would be kind of useful. Here, not so much. It also changes when you check your battle history. Who you use the Aphis drops on will be the person that comments on your rank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you don't use it on anybody, it'll be Relentless.
Huh.
So there's your incentive to use it on somebody because Relentless.
Interesting. I must have always used it on the same character then.
Yeah, what'd you use it on?
I think Nino, just because
Yeah,
she
that's
shows up
the
so late.
That's the
yeah,
usual
that's the
choice.
popular one.
Also, I just had Lloyd, the boss of the map, rescue his buddy, which slows him down to the point where Florina can double him, and then he dies. And the map ends. That's what he gets for being a nice guy.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those defense maps, but unlike the other ones, it's faster to just kill off a few people or kill some enemies before waiting it out. Yep. Oh, really? Rip? Seriously. That was way harder than it should have been. Also, people might know that the boss of this map has a spear that the game tries to claim that she is enhanced with dark magic and therefore she is stronger than usual, gives her stat bonuses. Turns out that it's just the spear she's holding has stat bonuses.
Yeah.
So if you take it from her, you will also have those.
Under normal circumstances, that would be very difficult.
Yeah, it would actually be impossible because you can't steal from her and she doesn't drop it. But the mind glitch says no.
It's way too good.
Because with the mind glitch, there's an enemy nearby who has a droppable Luna, and if you have an enemy that has a droppable item, basically swap or get a new item, then the newest item will come to drop. So
Yeah, like
you put the spear in his inventory, suddenly he drops the spear when you do this.
droppability is based on like the actual slot in the enemy and not the item itself. So under normal circumstances, enemies wouldn't swap their items around in their inventory, so it just flags saying that the enemy's second item is what they will drop to kill them. So yeah, just switch the item there that you want and then make it work.
And his spear is actually useful in this run. It gets used exactly the 15 times.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those good ways to get around the Falcon Knight's low strength cap of 23. It gives her strength bonus of 7 or something like that. Allows her to do a lot more damage.
Which is pretty big. Strength of 30 overall is among the highest I think any unit can get.
30 is the highest strength cap.
Yeah.
As far as quick red.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll place a mine there for later. The guy won't step on it for a few turns, but that's okay. So I've got more stuff to take care of. Such as ending turn and letting Louise kill these idiots who are too stupid to just attack her close up. Yeah. That's why I moved her down one, because they have no choice but to attack her in range.
In general, the enemy AI in the Game Boy games is such that if there is a player unit in range of attacking of an enemy and that enemy is not set to not move or have a specific movement pattern, it will always attack. And so as a result, you can manipulate enemies that way by just putting a unit that they would otherwise not really stand a chance against, but they'll still go up and fight it. It's something that they kind of, I guess you could say, fixed in the GameCube games, because they'll actually be smart and run away in some circumstances.
So yeah, now he has a spear. And he will shortly lose it. This is thankfully Kent's last use. Unfortunately, it ends in a little up, because he likes to waste time. Stats are too good.
That's the spear, right?
Yeah, it's
That is the spear.
And now we get to the point where you just end turn one. There will be a few reinforcements, but I put those units there because there would normally be 4 Dragon Knights that would pop out. The holes are plugged, so only one pops out.
Yeah, a very common thing as far as reinforcements in this game. They're usually based on like a space, whether it's a forge or coming from the mountains or whatever. So if you plan your unit on top of that space it's supposed to appear, they just don't come. Well, we mentioned the Atlas drops is something that you give to a unit to increase their growth rates. Did you make sure to choose the right affinity so that you can get the level up growth on those characters?
It doesn't actually affect growth. It based on your rank, like your tactician stars. Damn it. Your tactician stars. Like say you complete a map with S rank conditions, the game tracks, and according to those, it'll give you like a void bonuses and so forth. based on the affinity. Like if you have the matching, if the character has the matching affinity with the tactician, they'll get bonuses. They used to think that